A few hundred workers stormed the building outside Paris. The company has announced it would be closing its plant in Dunkirk. Meanwhile, Greek Prime Minister George Papandreou is in Washington to secure international backing for his debt-ridden nation. Civil servants have launched a new round of strikes against spending cuts to save $6.5 billion. From court sittings to border controls and driving tests, public services have been disrupted across the UK. 250,000 civil servants are staging a 48-hour strike against plans to cap redundancy pay. Now, this walkout is continuing through Tuesday. Alan Fisher reports.
Airports, job centres, passport offices, government buildings, just 4 of the places hit in the strike by UK civil servants. 250,000 staff were asked to join the 48-hour action, the biggest unrest by public sector workers in more than 20 years. The government claims only 81,000 answered the call. The action comes in protest at government plans to cut compensation paid to those who lose their jobs or take voluntary redundancy.
I want to stop the redundancies and everything else that's going on at the moment. MPs give themselves £1,000 a year raise, and they want to cut everything that we're getting.
This government seems to have a climate of rewarding the failures and punishing the people that succeed. So we're just thinking it's totally unfair, and this is the last resort, is a strike.
The strikers turned out across the UK and plan rallies in major cities on Tuesday.
The government is what it's really trying to do is rob our members to make it easier to cut their jobs, to actually sack them on the cheap, and that will have a massively detrimental effect, we believe, on public services.
Services have been hit because of the walkout. The British government, in a statement, says
it's disappointing the union has decided to take industrial action, given that less than 1 in 5 of their own members voted in favour of strike action.
5 out of the 6 unions representing public service workers in the UK have signed up to the new compensation deal. Those who are on strike now are hoping that this show of strength will force the government to reopen negotiations. The union insists the plans hit the poorest workers. The government says all it's doing is capping payments to those earning more than $45,000 a year to a maximum of twice their annual salary. This is expected to save $750 million a year. The changes will be introduced next month. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, London.
Let's now cross back to Laura for some of the day's other stories.
Thanks, Divya. Police in Togo have sealed off the opposition party's headquarters in a bid to prevent protests over the results of last week's presidential election. The opposition has called for a demonstration on Tuesday, claiming that President Faure Gnassingbé rigged the poll to win another term in office. A preliminary report by EU observers didn't find any evidence of vote tampering, but says the ruling party may have tried to buy off voters. Interpol has joined the Dubai task force in investigating the murder of a Hamas official in Dubai in January. The organisation has issued 16 so-called red notices, which allow arrest warrants issued by national police to be circulated to other countries to help in the arrest and extradition of suspects. Dubai police say they're almost certain the Mahmoud al-Mabhou's murder was carried out by Israel's intelligence agency, Mossad. Australia has awarded the Indonesian president its highest civilian honour at a ceremony in Canberra. Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono received the commendation for his, quote, extraordinary contribution to strengthening ties. But relations have been strained by a surge in asylum seekers who use Indonesia as a transit point before attempting to reach Australia. Several townships in northeastern Australia remain isolated by floodwaters that have caused hundreds of millions of dollars in damage. Days of continuous rain have overwhelmed drainage systems in Queensland state and caused rivers to overflow their banks. Water levels are at their highest in more than 25 years and have forced people to head to higher ground.